Hey, how's it going? I'm Dan Friedenberg. This is for Chess with Investors, and this is check out my hairy knight sack. Okay, check out my hairy knight sack. So I apologize if that's a little bit too spicy for you, but I've got a new game for you that includes a very spicy, smelly night sack. And with no further ado, let's get started. So if I get rid of the logo like this, we can get started. All right, so my opponent, he's Canadian with the last name of Drake. I don't know if it's the Canadian Drake. If he's taking up chess, that's probably better than some of the other things he's been accused of, but what can you do? So my opponent goes e4, and I continue to, okay, yeah, there you go. So I turn it into a Sicilian. This is a classical Sicilian, so I come out with the d6 here. Basically, it means that if he continues up here, then he's not going to have much to work with. I got plenty of space for my knight over here, same with over here. He pulls this out, so I take right there. And he pushes this out to try and take more of the center. I'm like, that's fine. That's my c-pawn technically, so I'll take that one as well. And he comes out with the knight. I come out to control, or at least contest these two squares a little bit more with my knight. He brings out his bishop. And so now I go, I'm going to fianchetto on the king side. So I move that out so the bishop can go here is what I'm talking about. White castles. That way it's not out in the middle, so protect the king. Okay, I move my bishop into position. Now he's got this battery of these two right here aiming at this, but of course this is a bishop, not a queen. So if he takes this pawn, then I'd be in check. I could still just move over there, and then he has to sit there and figure out what he's going to do about the fact that that bishop and the queen can't really get in yet. So I block that route in, but with this pawn right here. He comes out here trying to be saucy. I'm like, I'll show you saucy, and I'll threaten your queen and your bishop at the same time with this knight. And he goes, haha, I'll put you in check because it also threatens this knight, so you're going to lose the knight. But I know that if you move back over here, then it blocks the check. He's not going to take that with the queen. It also covers this pawn, which is covered twice, so we're in good shape. He moves up here, and I go, okay, well, I'm going to move my knight over here so I can castle. He moves over here. I think that's to connect the rooks. They call that connecting the rooks, when the two rooks can see each other. And the reason is if you play a whole whack of games, you'll notice that having connected rooks, it makes it very difficult to attack and have any counterplay. And I castle. He comes over here targeting this pawn, which is only covered by the queen, but it's being also attacked by his queen and his rook, so that spells a little bit of danger. I move this over here because I'm like, you know what? If he ends up taking with this rook and threatening my queen, I can take that bishop, which is better than taking a pawn, and that also attacks his queen, so I would end up being up. He says, I'm going to dodge. So I say, okay, well then I'm going to scoop up this square because it's also covered by this knight. This knight is covered by my queen, even though he can attack that way. So I go this way to basically say, hey, if you want to give me these medium-sized pieces, these mid-level pieces, then go ahead in return for this pawn. So I take it with the knight. He takes with the bishop. And so now the thing that I have to be concerned about is I can't allow him to take this pawn with the bishop, because then that would reveal an attack on my queen while I'm busy sorting out this attack. So that's why I move my queen over here. The idea being that, I got a few different things I can do. One of them is I can move it over here to trade queens with the pawn as backup. I can also, like this is covering this one more time, because the knight's attacking it and so is this bishop. But he moves over here to threaten my queen. So I go, haha, I'm going to move up here to see what you do. And he says, I'm going to threaten your queen and your bishop over here, and this pawn and that pawn, but that's covered and so is that. So I go over here, and he decides, okay, I'll trade your bad bishop for my good knight. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to move over here for that same reason as a second ago. If he took right there, then while I'm busy dealing with that BS, this rook right here would have a revealed attack on me, and that'd be bad. So he moves over here to threaten my queen, and I get out of the way over here. He ends up making this new battery again, and I go, you know what? I think it's time to trade some rooks. I'm targeting that rook right there, even though he's threatening to do this, but that's not a real threat because it's covered both by the knight and by the rook, and I said both, but yeah, also the queen. So he decides to move over here and threaten this rook, so I could say, okay, fine, I'll double up here, and I'm totally willing to take this bishop with my queen, because if he takes, then I take back. I get a bishop and a queen in return for my queen, which is a great deal. So he ended up taking this pawn because I can't really take it, and it's also threatening this rook right here, so I move my rook up to threaten the bishop with the queen as backup. So even if I take that way, it's a really good move. He gets the boop out of dodge, as they say, and so then I double up here to take right here and end up an exchange. And he says, I'm going to threaten your queen again. And I'm like, I'm going to threaten your queen now. And he moves over here to try and get a battery that's no use. And I say, well, that's a free bishop for me. Merci beaucoup. And he comes down here. I think he's trying to threaten this pawn because that one's covered. And so I say, okay, no pawn for you, threatening the queen again. Now, this was a neat little move. This one I was really happy with how I handled it, because it's a little bit scary. If you take right here, then this he can take this rook, and that's bad. So instead I just block with the bishop, and then he's in a bit of trouble, because if he takes right here, I can take with the queen. If he takes right here, I can take with the queen. If he takes right here, I can take with the rook. Basically, it's bad news all around. So he decides to trade his my bishop for his rook, and I'm like, thank you very much for that. And then he ends up threatening my king just like that, and I block with my rook. And he says, okay, well, I'm going to threaten your rook again. And I say, okay, I'm going to threaten your bishop. And now this is where things get really spicy, because now I can. He did that just because he couldn't think of something better to do, more likely than not. And I'm like, I'll move here to threaten your queen. And he's like, I'll move over here to get out of the way of that attack. Now, this was the move where I'm, like, it was... like, I got a couple different ways to do this. I should have moved my king over here first before doing this this hairy knight sack. That is the hairy knight sack that the title is talking about right there. He takes with the rook as he ought to, and I move out of the way so that now I have the ability to use this. He moves over here to further defend what's going on. I say, give me that. So that's check, and then I move up here. There's another check. He blocks it like that, and now he's got massive problems, because now this rook is pinned and defended. He takes the rook. I go check. That's a good move with that block, and I go like this. And you might say, hey, why is he resigning? He might have some more moves here still. And not exactly. The fact is, like, that just loses to the king taking. Even this move right here, which looks like it's a good one because it's covered by the bishop, unfortunately for him, because the rook is also here, if I take with the queen, he's not able to take back, because otherwise that would reveal check. And so this game's over. So that was my hairy knight sack. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to edit in another little plug here for my friends at Cardinal Financial, and they help with your financial services, particularly for the real estate sector, alternative assets, all that kind of stuff. But it's also for venture capital funds, hedge funds, if you want to create a hedge fund. Same with, I'm trying to remember all the other ones off the top of my head after just focusing on this ridiculous chess game here. But at the end of the day, if you enjoy chess, if you want to learn some more of the techniques and how this game works as a whole and the strategies that actual humans use, then chesswithinvestors.com is a great place to go. I should also mention, since it's August, that Cardinal Financial has a contest this month where if you book an appointment with Ryan to discuss what your plans are, your structure, see if there's something that you can help out with, a random person who books that appointment with him will win a $150 Amazon gift card. Exciting stuff. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.